This is episode 118 of the Beyond the Food Show, and today we answer a listener question about type A driven successful women and why she is struggling with weight but being successful everywhere else in her life. So if you are a type A person, let's do this, ladies. My name is Stephanie Dodier, clinical nutritionist. I reversed my diagnosis of anxiety, depression, adrenal fatigue, and obesity by going beyond the food. I can tell you one thing, that willpower, discipline, and deprivation aren't the permanent solution to transforming your relationship to food. So how do you leave overeating, emotional eating, food craving, and binging behind you so you have the food freedom to achieve all of your goal and be happy now? As a top 25 alternative health podcast in the world, this is the Beyond the Food Show. Hey ladies, this is Stephanie Dodier, and today we answer an amazing question that I received via Instagram, and it goes as follows. I can't figure out why I make excuses. I mean, I know I can do anything I set my mind to, and I've proven this in my career, in my family, with my kids, and everyone is looking up to me. But when it comes to food, this is a whole other story. I mean, I start with great ambition, and after a couple weeks, I make excuses and I fall off the wagon. Ooh, why is that? And most important, what do I need to do to end this cycle? So I'm going to answer that question from a place of having been there and wish that somebody told me this. And I'm going to explain to you, first of all, for those that may not know what is a type A woman, I'm going to explain that to you, and then we're going to go into why there is that one thing that you need to do that caused this entire struggle and why you keep doing it all the time. So we're going to explain all of this so you can, quote unquote, and I'm using the air quote right now, fix the problem, end quote, and you can achieve your goal. And I started by telling you this is me. And this has been me since probably the age of 15 years old. My entire 20s and my 30s was defined by being this driven, successful, competitive lady in every part of my life. Like, I mean, everything except food and weight. And I know there's a lot of you that have identified yourself with that. And I did a quick survey yesterday before recording this episode on Instagram. And I asked the followers if they define themselves as type A. And guess what? 70% of my follower on Instagram define themselves as type A. So let's go into what is a type A person. That can be a man or a woman, that doesn't matter. But here's a couple of descriptive of type A personality. So an intense sense of urgency and timing, lots of ambition in all areas of life, the desire to achieve many different goals, intense competitiveness, always having a busy schedule, being unable to fully relax, getting stressed easily, feeling guilty for wasting time, multitasking queen, and doing many different things during the day, working long periods of time without problems, and following very strict schedule and timetable and loving that environment. And the last piece, a type A personality has very strong self-discipline, and I'll add a piece for us here, except with food and weight and most things that have to do with self-care. So if you define yourself by 2 or 3 of more of those descriptive, you are a type A personality, and there's actual psychological personality tests that you can go and do. And I've linked one in the show notes. If you go to the show note, that's stephaniedodier.com/118, you'll have the link to a free personality test to determine if you are a type A personality. But here's the thing. If you are a type A personality, you've recognized yourself already. And here's the thing. like attract like. By that I mean, if you are attracted to me, my work, and my style, you are likely to have a part of you that is a type A personality because you love my directness, you love my get to the point, no BS approach. And that is totally descriptive of those types of personality, the type A. And here's the thing, I'm going to stay true to who I am in my style. The rest of the episode will be no BS. So the next maximum 10 minutes is going to be harsh and is going to sound like I'm crazy and I'm rude and I'm telling you things you don't want to hear. But you know, as a true strong woman, you want to get better. And the only way for you to get better is to hear and learn the truth. So here it is. You ready? You'll never be successful with solving, air quote, your food and weight issue, end quote, if you continue to tackle the food and weight issue in the same way that you deal with the rest of your life, by mean of control. Let me repeat this. You'll never be successful with the food issue if you continue to tackle it in the same way that you tackle your career, your family, your home, by a lot of control, organization, and type A personality. Yikes. I know it's harsh, but let's dive into this. We're going to take a quick break from our chat to give a shout out to our show sponsor, Health IQ. And I am so excited to be partnering with them and bringing you forward an innovative insurance company for the American listener. Health IQ helps health-conscious people like yogis, runners, cyclists, weightlifters to get lower rate on their life insurance. Just like you save money on your car insurance for being a good driver, Health IQ saves you money on life insurance for living a health-conscious lifestyle. Isn't it time that we get rewarded for our good health choices? Now, how do you get started? Very simply by qualifying through the Health IQ quizzes. And also, listen to this, if you submit actual training data through the various apps available, you can save additional dollars. To get started now, simply go to stephaniedodier.com/health IQ and take the test to see if you qualify. And when you get to speak to an agent, mention the code Beyond the Food to support the show. So get started now on saving money on your life insurance. Now, a shout out to our other show sponsor, Muse. And I'm very grateful to team up with Muse to bring you the first tool in the world to help you learn to meditate at home. Muse is a wearable brain sensing headband that measures our brainwave and sends the feedback to an app on our personal device. I love my Muse because it transforms my meditation practice. I wear it daily for my 10-minute session in the morning, and it coaches me through my practice by giving me real-time feedback on what's happening in my brain and helping me refocus during my meditation. I love this partnership with Muse because it brings the tool to the first timer and it helps expand the practice of the more advanced meditator. So it's time for you to get your Muse on and learn to calm your mind through meditation. And here's the thing, as a listener of the Going to Beyond the Food show, you get 15% off of the purchase of your Muse. To take advantage of this offer, simply go to stephaniedodier.com/muse. And again, the URL is stephaniedodier.com/muse and register through this URL to get 15% off. So join me in my 10 minutes meditation practice every morning and get our Muse on and go beyond the food together. So why is that happening? Why is trying to deal with your, quote, food and weight issue, end of quote, in the same way as you deal with the rest of your life, not a good thing, right? The approach to the rest of your life that made you successful by controlling, organizing, planning, basically working from what we call the left brain, the control aspect of you, the organization and all of that, is actually in part what is causing you to have a food issue. Because our relationship with food is actually emotional. It's an extension. Our relationship to food is an extension of our relationship to ourselves internally. It actually is right brain. It's emotional. So it's the counter opposite of how you actually deal with the rest of your life. And because you are ignoring this emotional component, this need for you to feel and express through your food, because you're shutting it down all the time and you're suppressing it, you're making it even bigger. So to quote unquote deal with your food issue, you actually need a completely different skill set, the ability to listen. Now, here's the good news before you start crying. I know it's just a joke. I know you're not going to cry, but here's the thing. You were given that skill set at birth. You were connected with your ability to feel your emotion and regulate your emotion with other things than food. But through life experience, your wins, your lose, your failure, you kind of suppress this ability because in the past, that is not what made you successful. So you're going about your own experience in life and you're saying to yourself, well, it's clearly demonstrated that when I control everything, I'm successful. When I control everything about my work or my career or my family or my relationship, I am successful. So you then turn around and say, proven, scientifically demonstrated. Let's apply that to all the facets of our lives. The problem is anything that has to do with feeling and emotion and internal growth, such as your relationship to food, cannot be controlled with your left brain, with logic, control, restriction, and all that stuff that you use everywhere else in your life, because your relationship to food is what we call in our Beyond the Food Academy a body message. Your body, your soul, your spirit, your divine inside of you, however you want to call it, is talking through you, through your craving, through your desire to binge, through your desire to eat forbidden food, all stuff that happen inside of you. It's internal, and you cannot control those body messages. You cannot suppress how your internal world is trying to communicate to you. The longer you're going to try to suppress it, ignore it, not listen to it, not communicate with it, the bigger it's going to become. And then you're going to wake up like I was, and it's going to explode. Like literally it's going to be this big ball and it's going to explode. And for me, it showed up in a massive panic attack that led me straight to the hospital. For other of you, it could be depression, burnout, anxiety, chronic condition, because you're suppressing, you're logically trying to tackle this problem, not knowing that it's a completely different issue. So, what is the solution? Number one, you need to admit that you need help. And God Almighty, I know this is difficult for all of you successful, strong, determined, type A's ladies, because you've been successful on your own most of your life. But here's the thing. This here, the food/weight issue, you need help. You need someone or something that is going to help you reconnect with this ability to listen, decode, interpret with your soul spirit, your relationship to food, your body messages is trying to tell you. As I said earlier, that skill is already inside of you. We just need to go tap into it and start listening and learning. Step number 2, once you admit you need help, then go seek help. I've got something for you to help you. I've got actually 2 things. Number 1, My very successful workshop that I've been running on pilot for the last 2 weeks, it's called How to Stop Overeating Without Willpower and Discipline, right? You can come and attend it. That next workshop, the last one until June 2018. So today, if you're listening live, we're February 21st, 22nd. So the next one is February the 24th, Saturday, February the 24th. It's free, it's virtual, it's online. You can go register on my website, stephaniedodier.com/webinar, or you can go to show notes, stephaniedodier.com/118. 1 hour, I'm going to teach you this whole mind stuff and how you need to listen and how to listen and how brain science is actually proving everything that I'm trying to tell you right now. So there is some scientific evidence behind that and how to do this. So number one, attend that workshop. Two, if we're past that workshop right now, you can go and download my free Crave Cure Guide. So it's a booklet, PDF format. It's about 40 pages of explaining to you that relationship that we have to food and how we need to approach it differently. Step number 3, learn to be with yourself instead of doing. Our ability to listen to our body messages, to our craving, to our relationship to food, so we can decode what it's trying to tell us, we have to be. It is not going to work if you're trying to approach this with a checklist mentality. You actually need to be. Great ways of learning to be is mindful movement, like a hatha-based yoga, like a tai chi, restorative yoga, even Feldenkrais movement would be a great place to start to learn to be with yourself instead of doing. 4, learn to listen to your body. So once you can be with your body, how do we listen to it? Now, the Crave Cure Formula Guide will take you through something I call the Crave Cure Formula. It's a 5-step process where we are learning to listen to what our body is trying to tell us so we can then take action and make changes in our life and no longer need those body messages, those craving, those binge eating, those overeating behavior, because we're actually making the changes into what matters to our internal world, our soul, our spirit, and no longer try to control everything. If you're coming to the workshop on the February 24th, you'll learn all of that. Focus on feelings, the last step. Instead of focusing on doing, learn to focus on your feelings. And a great example of that is how we set up goals. So if I was to ask you right now, what are your goals for 2018? You're likely, a good type A woman will likely tell me, I want this. I want to achieve this in my career. I want to make that much money. I want to be able to buy this. I want to go on this trip. Like, it's all external things. How about if you learned to discover how you want to feel? What is the real motivation for you to get this next move in your career? How you want to feel? Because that's what's hidden behind those goals. That's what we do in the academy. One of the first things we do in the Beyond the Food Academy, the first week, is we ask our student to reframe their goal in a feeling chase. So we want them to chase feelings instead of external element. So we take this whole mindset of goals, we put that aside, and we look internally to determine how we want to feel. And then we focus our action on how we want to feel. So those are the 5 things I recommend that you do. I hope I will see you in the workshop on the 24th. If you're listening to this post that, we'll have another series of workshop in the month of May and June that you can attend, but at least download the Crave Cure Guide and we'll see you on that part. So ladies, if you are a strong, successful, determined type A ladies, I hope this episode helped you. And I'm grateful that you chose to be with me today. And I remind you that there is likely in your circle other women that are struggling with the exact same thing as you. And I would ask you a favor. to help them, share this episode with them. Directly from your device, via the show note, share this episode so they can hear the same message as what you're hearing today. The second thing I would ask from you is to subscribe to this episode. Subscribe to the podcast in general, so when I drop a new episode on crazy subject like I did today, you will receive the update automatically in your device, so we'll constantly be in touch together. That's it. I love you. I thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next episode. Did you know that 9 out of 10 women are struggling with their relationship to food? Overeating, emotional eating, binging, and craving are real. Clearly, the solution we have been taught aren't working. I believe to have food freedom, it means that we must learn to have a relationship with our hunger so we can finally be at peace with food and eat normally without guilt or shame, which is why I wrote the Crave Cure Guide. I want to show you how to have a completely different relationship with food so that you can be in control of what you eat, achieve your goal, and be the powerful woman you were meant to be. The best part is, this book and the step-by-step process is absolutely free. To receive your free copy, simply go to stephaniedodier.com/guide and we can get started right now.